All right, folks, thanks for tuning in to Alberta Radio Show. I'm your host, Jay LaFace, and this is our 17th episode. So, for those of you guys just tuning in and subscribe to our YouTube, smash that YouTube button for us and follow us on all our other socials. You can tune in 24/7 to our streams at albertaradio.ca, which we'll be updating later today. So, we're going to start off with, I have an issue right now that's really bothering me and others in Edmonton. Is the fact that we have all these folks who are homeless right now. We have a lot of folks who come out of the winter brunt, and many of them have got amputated recently. What I don't like is that these amputated individuals are being thrown back onto the street with no housing, help, nothing. Okay, but yet we have all these empty infills everywhere. Now, there's a video that I took down off one of my friend's feeds, and I'm going to show you this because it just encapsulate a little bit what's going on here in Edmonton.
Well, shocking new details tonight about a random attack downtown that left a local businessman and father of two dead.
Crime and disorder in the area are out of control.
This is Edmonton, Alberta, Canada's fifth largest city, and a city that is falling apart amidst dealing with crime, drugs, and homelessness that is fueling disorder and decline. The city's downtown has been hollowed out, and some parts of the city look like war zones. And Edmonton's toxic drug crisis is now being cited by the Trump administration. My name is Ellie. I have a decade of experience in Canadian politics, and recently my team and I went to Edmonton to see what was going on. We analyzed the data, we spoke to residents, and we walked the streets ourselves. And what we saw and heard were some of the most shocking things I have seen in my career as a journalist.
So, it's true. President Trump's aware of what's going on in Edmonton right now. And I think that's thanks to a few of us who have been emailing. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've emailed the White House a couple times and said, like, are you observing what's going on in Canada here? Do you see what's happening in Edmonton? Do you see what's happening in, like, across the country? In my email I sent to the White House, I had explained how Canadian cities were being faced with major homelessness in tent cities because of Liberal policies and NDP policies that were affecting our people. I explained also in that letter that when we go and look at these cities where the homelessness rate is out of control and addictions are out of control, you never see foreigners. It's not foreigners. It's First Nations and it's Canadians. So there was that. And then, there's a few of us who did this. And in mine, I also include the MAID. I include, the political interference with China and other foreign states and how it's affecting Canadians and how Canada doesn't own its own natural resources. We don't even benefit because these foreign corporations come in and buy the Canadian-made companies and boom, they don't even care. They don't care about our environment. They don't care about our people. They just take. And then you look at what's happening in our country. Corporations have taken control of Canada. So when you start seeing Liberal policies that are being doled out, that have been forced on municipalities and partnerships it's an exchange for the Building Accelerator Fund. Okay, this is a lot of it has to do with this. So it's just this massive racket of construction stuff that's going on, and it's just money flowing to developers and back to the government and municipal government and this and that and banks, and it's just there to raise the value of the city so that they can raise the taxation rate to make it similar to Toronto. That's what's happening in Edmonton. But with the ripple effects of that is you're throwing more people out onto the streets, and then they're faced with homelessness and addictions. And a lot of people are getting addicted, and they're zombies. There's people, they're dying on the streets of Edmonton. Like, Tommy Temper's out there all the time recording this. Jesse Ferriega is out there all the time recording this. So when are we going to do something about the 4,000 homeless Edmontonians, Albertans, and First Nations that are on our streets right now here in Edmonton? What are we going to do about that? When are we going to do something about that? But yet, my argument right now is to tell the government, look, you guys go out and find any thing to virtue signal the fact that you'll find funding to help another country that has a couple hundred people that need humanitarian aid, right? You'll go to all the ends of the earth to make sure they're taken care of. The federal government of Canada imports homeless refugees and houses them and gives them jobs and everything in priority over our own people. Tell me that's nothing broken. Which brings me to my next video, which is from Tom Dienes, and how he explains, like Alberta Prosperity Project has the value of a freedom document, and he breaks it down a little bit. And I do believe that we should have more sense of nationalism for Alberta, because look at the Confederacy's fallen apart, and Canada, the federal government has turned its back against its own citizens, and they're diluting the country, right? So when you look at these countries, these are countries that have major investment into the Canadian industry that's been stolen from the Canadian people and First Nations, and they're flooding their people into our country because they're going to be the ones working them. So I'm going to show you this video.
Well, shocking new details tonight about a random attack downtown that left.
This is I'll pull up this video. Give me 1 second. This is a video from Tom this morning. And the reason why I'm playing it is there's a few things. One, it's about accountability. Two, it's about uniting Albertans together. And three, it explains the value of freedom. And he has some good points that are really important. And I'm just going to say this, Tom, I know that you tag me in a lot of your posts and I share them out. And this video really hit home for me today. And I just want to tell you and all my followers and viewers, so when people do nefarious things and should be held accountable, I haven't done nothing nefarious, but I do make some stupid X posts that people look at and they're like, my God, Jay. Now, look at, I'm a human being. I'm just upset as everyone else right now with the Canadian government. I have a specific skill set that, I could do whatever I wanted to, but I don't. I choose to uphold the integrity of being a responsible citizen and help fight the good fight and follow the rule of law to its full extent until we have exhausted everything we can. And then we look at what we do at that point. And I know that will never happen. I believe truly in my heart, with everybody uniting, working together, that we can accomplish what we're fighting for, and we can do it responsibly. So moving forward, I just want to say this. In the last week, I've been able to meet a lot of my followers in person, going to events, finally showing up and showing face and doing something cool and meeting folks and covering it, So that in itself it's changed me. Actually, it changed my life in the last week. I have a totally different outlook. So I'm with you, and moving forward, I'm making sure that I'm not going to be doing some stupid things or like that, because you're right. When folks do, and I'm not saying I ever did, I haven't done anything nefarious, but we know that other people have. But those things, when things like that happened, it hurts the movement, right? And then it creates ripple effects across the board and argument and whatever, and I don't want that either. So we should all work together collectively, because I believe that Albertans are more united than what we think we are. We just need some direction, right? So we need to get the right folks in the leadership roles so that we can properly lead and make sure that we're educating everybody that's coming on board to support what we're doing. So I'm going to play Tom's video and thank Tom for doing such a great job on this video this morning. It's about 7 minutes long, so here we go.
Hey guys, it's Tom Dienes here with Sheepdogging with Tom Dienes, as I call it on YouTube. I was thinking about how can we unite? I was thinking about the Alberta independence movement, and I was thinking about pretty well 5 different things, 5 pillars. The main one being executive accountability. And as that relates to the current Canadian system of governance, that would relate to the King's Privy Council, which are our elected MPs, the Prime Minister himself, and the Senate per se, things like that, right? That's who I consider to be the executive. And then also number 2 would be judicial reform. We really need to get back to justice is blind, and the law needs to be written in a way that's solid, right? So that when you have like judges, they're looking the law for what it is, and they're not going to be leaning towards one political group over the other. I think that was the idea originally, right? Is that the law is the law and justice is blind, and that's rightly so. And then thirdly, like I was thinking about like legislative and constitutional reform, and I just want to let you guys know I'm actually a member of the Alberta Prosperity Project, because I look at guys like Mitch and Jeff there that have been largely the face of the movement, or some of the people I've been following for sure. And that's not to dismiss other people, right? There's lots of guys out there that have got a lot of experience that they're bringing to the table, and we should listen and weigh those things out. But I just want to highlight the in terms of constitutional reform, like the Alberta Prosperity Project has what I call the Freedom Document, which is a financial fiscal draft plan for why Alberta should become independent. And I think it's excellent. It's well done, well thought out. I mean, hey, feel free to criticize, right? But nothing's set in stone. But the idea is that if we become independent, like we can take control, I call it like our own self-determination as opposed to Ottawa, right? Of course, like, because basically, again, I've talked about it before, like, basically, you win over Ontario and Quebec, however the vote goes there. Essentially, there's 200 seats there, so if they all go like Liberal per se, I mean, there's Bloc Québécois and other parties here and there, but they form the federal government, and of course they're going to steer things in the way that works best for them. So we need some changes, right? Like Alberta's basically sugar daddy, and basically like Eastern Canada is kind of like, they're relying on sugar daddy, if I could put it that way. And then we've not only that, and then they have the audacity basically to tell us how to govern like this land, and that's the root cause of a lot of the frustrations here, right? And people here have really had enough. So the financial side of it too is a real big one in terms of constitutional reform. And okay, so let's go to number 4. Again, I said there was 5 things here, right? So property rights, like individual property rights. Like if you actually look into it, like it's I didn't even really know these things until you actually start looking into how the law actually works in this country, and we really don't have rights in the way that I would say the Americans do, right? And so I would rally around that one point as well, like that your land is your land. Like I really don't think we should be ushering in this communist style globalist mentality where I would say that we should embrace nationalism as opposed to globalism. We should, you talk about the individuality of nations is more like a check and balance. If we go to one system, man, and from the way I'm looking at it, right, like it looks like AI will be really kind of running the show, right? If we just allow these things to take place, and of course number 5, I talked about that is economic prosperity, right? So that we're not confined to the restrictions that like Ottawa places on Alberta, right? Because of their ideological extremism, if I can put it that way. So these are some of the main issues, right, that I see. And of course they all branch off from there, and there's other things too, but it's very important to unite and work together. Like now on this team too, right, if certain individuals are doing things that are wrong, that needs to be called out, not swept under the rug. Like I'm pretty solid on my position on that kind of stuff, right? Whether it's myself or anyone else for that matter, the law applies to us all. So like when we do stuff that's kind of on the shady side, that harms the whole movement. So, and like sometimes I just play around with AI, and I create these infographics. Like I do a little bit of research right into it and work with AI to create some of these images, and some people like it, some people don't. But to me, I look at it this way. It's a tool. And depending on the character of the individual using it, you can use it for either good purposes or dark purposes. Okay, and I'll put it to you this way. It's like if you give a good man a firearm, he'll use it to protect his family and or others for that matter. But if you give a bad man with bad character a firearm, he'll rob a store and he'll abuse that power for his own selfish ends, right? So think of it that way when it comes to AI. I mean, there's a lot of dangers to AI, 100%. This whole biodigital convergence integration and what people want to do, but you always have to look at the dark side of it too, the potential of how this could be used to our own destruction, if you will. It's a simple way of putting it, but again, guys, this is Tom Dienes, and that's today's weigh-in. So let's try and work together. Again, there's other guys too. I think Keith Wilson is bringing a lot to the table, a lot to the conversation, helping to educate us on what's actually going on here. So I'm really hats off to a lot of the lawyers out there that are actually just kind of educating like us guys that are just not so much aware of these things. So I really do appreciate that. Corey Morgan too, he's a good one. I call him the historian, right? Because he's been following this for a very long time. There's lots of guys, right, that have put in a lot of effort out there. So again, hey, take it as a grain of salt, but to me, like, we need to find reasons to work together and not to create more division. So, and also, we got to call foul when there's foul, right? And take ownership. Take ownership. When you do something wrong, the best thing you can do is be transparent and own what's going on here. Take care, guys. Sheepdogging with Tom Dienes.
Right on, man. And he's right. He's right. So that's why I say you won't see no more crap from me, but I have nothing to do with the Centurion Project stuff. I think that there really is hurting the movement. And it's not like internal. It's more external from mainstream media and NDP Alberta and these radical leftists that are just spewed out lies. You know, oh, we're getting Russian funding, and we're getting United States funding. And I think the new one I heard today was somebody was accusing my friend Berta of being involved with CSIS or something like that. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, and I can tell you he's not. But it's just interesting that it's like Tom said. There's just people out there, and look, I say this: Albertans are more united than we think we are, and what we need to do is just stick together. And we've stuck together this long. We should know better, right? Now, I agree there's some rhetoric going on X that I don't like either, so I'm just staying out of it. I don't want nothing to do with that. I've been, I trust me, I've had my fair share of that in the last few years, and it hurt. Like, it actually hurt me. And when you do things and you're like, oh shit, I should have never done that, so that's why I prefer to stay out of it. But yeah, I'm all about keeping the momentum of uniting Albertans together and, fight for her. I mean, that's what we're here. That's why I came home. I came home to fight for Albertans. So I'm not here to play games and divide, like, so all of us, let's just work. And Tom, you do amazing content. I just want to say that. And I enjoy your content. I share it when you tag me and stuff. I try to share as much as I can. And today I figured, I watched your video this morning and I was like, what? I gotta pull that video down and play it on my show today because it resonates, right? So I totally agree with you, bro, 100%. So I all of us need to work together, and yeah, man, we should all get together for coffee sometime, buddy. Anyways, next up, we're gonna play another video. Give me a second.
Hey guys, it's Tom.
And believe me, I use OBS, so everything's freestyle. Right, so you guys are like, oh, okay. What was that? Next up. Oh yes, Mr. Nenshi. Let's go after him.
Because here's the thing. The Premier has proven herself to be a foreign agent by accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
I'm a foreign agent. Foreign agent. Everything's a foreign agent. But guess what, Nenshi? We know that you took a trip to go see the Chinese Communist Party, paid by the Chinese Communist Party, to go have some interactions with the Chinese Communist Party, and potentially you are a Chinese Communist Party agent. Next.
You stole money from Calgarians and took a trip to Davos not once, not twice, but 3 times, and you didn't report it for a year. Next up, you are hilarious. Now, let's continue with the video because it's funny.
She'll never get her clearance.
A few moments later.
Funny timing, because you were talking about this a little bit earlier, and you said the premier won't be granted security clearance. I am writing an article today about how she has been granted.
Oh, has she really?
and I.
Well, you know, geez, I hope that the people granting the security clearance really dug into her connections with foreign governments. But good for her. I hope she'll use it well, and I hope she'll tell Pierre Poilievre he ought to get his.
Now, I'm just going to say this. I believe that Mr. Nenshi should be going to see some, or should be ordered to go through some psychiatric evaluation. He is not a strong leader for the NDP, period. And now I'm questioning his mental state, if he's mentally sound. Because this guy, when you look at all the videos I've seen, okay, so far, his demeanor is very childlike in a man's body. So it tells me that he may be intelligent in some stuff, okay, I'm not going to take away that, but I think that he's getting old, and I think there might be something wrong with Nenshi. I'm just saying, I'm going to play the empathy card, right? But no, seriously, I actually believe there's something wrong with Nenshi. It's just his demeanor. I mean, it's totally, and his behavior lately has just been out of control. Out of control. Oh yeah, UFO files have been released, folks. I love this stuff, so that's why I'm playing it. This footage is actually old footage. There's a bunch of new stuff that got released in the last 24 hours by the CIA, FBI, I think NSA released some stuff. Yeah, it's all in one dump. And it's pretty awesome because I actually have a picture that I seen before. Here we go. So this picture, I seen this in 1997 on a data hack, which nobody could extract the files from the server, but a lot of us seen this thing, right? And they put it out today. And so this is the actual picture that folks were talking about a long time ago, where there was documents on the servers showing there was recovered bodies. Now this is a potential body of an alien recovered from Roswell. There's other pictures that you can go on the database and look at, and there's some pretty crazy stuff out. But yeah, so there is evidence now. At least I'm glad the Americans are admitting it, and there's other countries who have admitted it before, that they recovered alien tech and bodies. Russia was one of them, China and Canada. So Canada, on the other hand, hasn't officially announced it, but you know, those of us who've been around and doing stuff and seeing stuff and privy to information know damn well that Canada recovered two UFOs with alien bodies. Back one was in the 50s and the other one was in the 70s. So that should come out eventually, but you know, the liberals won't tell you that. Anyways, I think it's pretty awesome. You know, so now it's evident that we've been observed, and I think people should be, you know, aware. I know a lot of people believe in this, but look, if they were going to take us down, they would have done it by now. I think they've just been observing us, and who'd want to engage with such a hostile species, right? Like, I mean, war, we're always killing each other, we're always, you know, violence, the way we treat each other, the way, you know, like you think you put a wrap in all in one. You say, do you really want to interact with those species when you're more advanced than us? I think we need to grow as humanity a little bit more and learn our lessons and get our welts, because something's got to give, right? But anyways, yeah, I've been covering quite a bit there today. Don't forget, there's going to be a lot of events coming up. I know that some folks are working on some stuff. I'm going to try and get out there and do some coverage there in the next few days. And I'm really on the homelessness infill situation right now. I think that needs to be rectified. So I definitely plan on doing some more coverage on the infills to show you the vacancy and show you all these empty units. There's also some other nefarious stuff going on with the infill builds with the developers. Like I actually did a video where my wife was going to work and I was walking down the street and one of the infills was on fire, right? So I was like, whoa, what the hell's that? So it's just interesting. But yeah, so we'll see. Anyways, yeah, we're keeping it a short show today. I think there was something else I did want to play. Oh yeah. You know. Oh yes, I did want to cover this. Here we go. Pause that. Now, I got this yesterday from the Daily Mail. They actually sent it to me. And it was the original video they sent to me. But I decided to grab the one where they have their own labeling. So I was made aware of the incident that drag queen for kids, right? They had to pull the students out. So I'm going to play the video. And yeah, so the Canadians they were forced to leave the play because it was getting very inappropriate. Yeah. And we've been saying it. I'm glad the Premier of Alberta has been doing stuff to get this away from the kids. I would actually advise parents to start complaining to the ATA to make sure that their kids are not attending these inappropriate shows. Absolutely. I have a huge problem with it. Huge problem with it. I think that's it. So, on the other news front, we got the Federal Privacy Watchdog has announced today that the CRA, okay, was hacked 42,000 times since 2020. You know what you want to know? Here's the kicker. In 2020, the people who were running IT and defense for the CRA were all let go because of the vaccine. Nobody wanted to take it. They fired everybody, so they gave it to somebody else, and it's been hacked 42,000 times. They've been using the API authentication breaches, which is something that was coded by guys like us. They use DDoS attacks resulting into the DBase leak, which, because when you DDoS and packet attack a server, you can get in. So they got in. And then on our end, okay, after everybody lost their jobs, a lot of us were pissed off. So I didn't do any hacks, but what I did do was my wife had to wait on the phone for 8 hours with the CRA. Okay, I was like blown away, and I told her to stay on the phone. I said, I don't care, babe. Plug your phone in, wait it out, and wait until someone answers the phone. 8 hours. So I was documenting all this so I can send it to the ministry. And So finally the person gets on the phone, and I had enough time to set up my computer because I also, while this was all going on, I found out that the agents were using cell phones. Using cell phones. So two things can happen. One, an attacker can sniff the call and listen to everything that's going on. Okay, that's number one. And that, I mean, I can obviously do it. I'm sitting there right there anyways, but I mean, I could do it. But the other thing is number two is these agents are using cell phones, which puts their security at risk by geolocating them on a connection, which I did. And I reported it. And I submitted the report to the CRA to show them that this was going on and this was major security issues. And I believe that the people who are running are incompetent and that they should really look at getting some people back. Now, all of this as a result, these 42,000 data breaches are a result of mostly internal data breaches conducted by CRA employees that have been hired in from other countries. That's number one. That is the number one on the list. Foreigners are invading Canadian privacy. They're pulling the files out and they're selling it to India. Number two is when it comes to the API actual digital hacks on the infrastructure itself, they pull the database, everybody that's done taxes with the CRA and has a login online, your stuff has been now sold on the dark web, and that includes your potentially your bank account information. Some folks have had their banks see erroneous charges on their banks. It's probably as a result of the CRA data breach. So, when the Privacy Watchdog comes out today and says, well, guys, you're screaming about the electors list in Alberta, well, you might want to know that the CRA has been just compromised and destroyed. It's just rooted. It's rooted. It needs a new system. Where is everybody on that? Right? I've been telling everybody this for a while. Nobody listens. Oh yeah. CRA got hacked. Ah. Electors list access. Oh my God! I gotta. What was it? There was a girl in Sherwood Park who went to her NDPMLA and said that she had to take extra security measures, so she had to relocate. All within a 24-hour announcement of the information I got provided to media. All within that 24-hour period, all of a sudden, they managed to get a U-Haul, relocate this girl, and make a big drama scene about it. I actually watched the video and seen this. I laughed my head off. And I'm not going to say that this is actually bad. I'm not okay with it. I just want to say that. What I think is comical is how the opposition is creating what I call virtue signaling hyper fear tactics is what it is. And things like this where you have an incident that's just been found out, okay? And within that 24-hour period, you have an NDPMLA that goes to TikTok and says, oh, there was this lady who her information was, we had to call the RCMP and we had to relocate her because she's fearful for her information being leaked by the data breach. Really? Really? I don't think so. So that kind of fear propaganda tactic by the opposition is what I'm talking about that I think is comical. I don't like it because it's fear propaganda, but it's expected by these extreme radical left. Now, in terms of whatever breach happened, I don't support that. Because from my understanding, what people have told me, because I never used the app, I never downloaded it, I never used it, thank God. I have nothing to do with that. What I did is I seen this flyer going on social media about the Centurion project, and I seen that it was my colleagues and friends that were attending this thing, so I figured, you know what, it'd be good. It's in Edmonton, and I live in Edmonton, so I just figured go network with some folks and then see what this is all about, right? And then it turned into a debacle. And I'm like, wow, man. But then I asked some folks that I know, like, how did it work? And, just they explained it to me because I'm very tech savvy. And the one thing, like, from what I've seen is they would put a name into the database and the names would come up and they could claim the names. So that there in itself is it violates the Privacy Act because those folks didn't opt into your database to get verified or claimed by the end user. that's where the law is going to apply. And I am so happy I have nothing to do with that. Nothing. And I'm not, and it's nothing against anyone. I'm not bad mouthing nobody. But what happened was bad for the movement. That hurt us. But we're going to bounce back and prevail. So that's my only comment on it. I want to see what the results of the investigation is, like everyone else, to be fair. But it's not a it's not a data breach either. If anybody wanted my expert opinion, because I'm trust me, I know this stuff inside and out. This is my analysis so far. As it looks like somebody stole the data from somebody else's database, imported it into their system to use it. That's what it looks like. So it's theft. It's data theft at that point. Next, it becomes a issue of the Privacy Act being violated and those laws broken, which means that you put a database of names into a system that those folks never opted in to you, so that your end users can claim and confirm, which made visible public without their consent. So that breaks the Privacy Act rule. So you're guilty on two issues. And that's where it is right now. And I believe the law will look at it that way, and Elections Alberta will look at it that way. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've been doing this for a long time, folks. I've been on a computer since 1986. I've been connected. I probably have you know what? I'll be fair to say that I'm probably in the top 10 in this country with the most connected online time. That's sad. I'm not proud of that. But that's the truth, right? Because of my skill set. That's all I'm good at. Really good at. So that's my analysis of it so far. I did do, and I will admit, when I found out about this list and I seen the cops go into the event and all that debacle that happened, when I got home, I didn't go to that website till the day after, and I guess that's when they pulled the database down. So I did a sweep. So basically, what I consider a sweep is I just do a vulnerability scan to see if it's secure. And I seen some things that they could have fixed, but it was open. So maybe it was just because the way they removed the database or whatever. I don't know, but it doesn't. I know better system administrators. I'm just saying. Anyways, moving on. Let's see here. So NASA, I wanted to bring this up too because I think some cool things have happened lately. NASA has released information about some evidence of these anomalies on Mars, which could potentially be a remnant of life. Microbes, or even spiders, insects. So I'm waiting for more information to come out, but I actually did see the pictures, and you guys should Google that and check it out. I just wanted to bring that up because I'm all about space exploration and moving humanity forward. And yeah, let's see, I got another video I want to pop up before we go. Oh yeah. Oh, this one's good. This is about the harm reduction and the fentanyl crisis in Canada at a committee.
Thank you, Chair. Dr. Reimer, I just wanted to return to Mr. Mazier's question because I was honestly just really surprised by your response. So I'm like you, I'm a physician. I have been a public health officer. And if either a patient or a young person in my life asked me, is it inadvisable to inject illicit substances, I would have no hesitation saying, yes, it's inadvisable. You could die. You could get infected endocarditis. And I can say that with compassion. I'm worried about that person, and if they feel like they might inject anyways, despite my advice, I'd urge them to get on methadone treatment or something like that. Why do you not feel able to make that recommendation with reference to our previous chat about building trust in public health institutions?
Dr. Reimer, 20 seconds to respond.
Thank you, MP, for the question. I think the importance in my response is that it is a complex response, and I want to be able to provide a more fulsome answer that includes the risks and benefits and how we can reduce harms in my response.
You have 5 seconds to.
I was able to give my response. It took 20 seconds. I don't know why you couldn't, and I'm terribly curious to know what you think the benefits of injecting illicit fentanyl is.
And that's your government of Canada. They will ignore the fact that, remember how long they were going after cannabis? Okay, how many shops got, or how many guys got busted over the years for just weed, right? And I mean, they went to the fullest extent. Now, the government of Canada is promoting the use of illicit fentanyl to be shot up, smoked, and injected, whatever, right? Like, it's insane. And then they're on the hop with Big Pharma creating these methadone Suboxone clinics that keep these patients on for 10 years at full doses. Oh yeah, that's another thing. And these MPs have no clue. They're not on the streets. They don't see what's going on. They don't understand what's happening at that level. And they go up there and they run these committees and sit there and chirp on these committees about things they don't even understand. But yet they seem to think that they're professionals about it because they have some accreditation or something on their resume that gives them accreditation to have the right to say whatever, right? Like, they're killing people. That's just the bottom line. It needs to stop, and we need to have different leaders who are going to take a different role at this. I think Alberta's done a great job in how we've tackled the fentanyl issue and the addictions. I mean, we've got a lot of work, but now it's down to the municipal level. And Edmonton, the municipal level here, is not taking responsibility and making a war zone type homeless situation in our city, and we are the capital of Alberta. So what I'd like to do is clean this up, find and present a solution, and it ends. So yeah, it's just it's sad what's happening across the country, man. It's not just Edmonton, everywhere across the country. Like, I'll tell you this, folks. I repeat this all the time. When I was living in Ontario, and I grew up in Ontario, Sudbury. The last, well, from 2020 to 2020, well, actually, it was actually starting 2017. So from 2017 to the time I left in 2023, there was about 1,100 people who died from overdoses. And out of that 1,100 people that I knew from the downtown core were young kids. They were 14, 15, 16 years old. Died from overdoses because adults were handing them this shit. I have a list of all the folks I know that have passed from this. They had, in Sudbury, in front of the mayor's office, they put this thing like they were trying to copy BC. Because BC did this, which I thought was awesome. They did this memorial where they had, it was like 2,000 crosses or something from 20 years of all these addicts who died, right? 2,020 years. And in Sudbury, in the matter of a couple years, we lost almost 280 kids. Young teens, young adults, and some adults. Very few adults, though. So they decided to put the crosses for change in front of the mayor's office on the corner of the street of Paris and Brady, right visible to the whole public. And I thought that, at first I thought, okay, it's something. But then after a while I thought to myself, because they're not doing anything about it, it was just a form of I don't know, like a slap in the face, like, haha, we took your kid. Because after so many people drop, and one weekend, okay, in one weekend I lost 3 of my closest friends from it. Never thought they'd ever do it. I never thought, but they were living on the streets. And I still believe that they were probably robbed. But because most of the deaths that have happened in Sudbury as a result of the fentanyl overdose situation is the fact that people would do these hot shot robberies, is what it's called. So they would give the individual a hot shot enough to inebriate them and then rob them. And it's a 50-50 if that person lives or not, because of the amount they're giving them, the potency of the drug that they're injecting into that person, or they're giving them to inject, right? It's pretty crazy, man. So a lot of folks have died, and then the death rate now, the death rate in Sudbury, Ontario right now has shot up. It's the highest in the country. So when I compare Ontario to Alberta, Alberta's done a hell of a better job at saving lives. We still have the issue of the 4,000 homeless people in Edmonton, but that is a municipal level thing because the province has programs. And the problem is the municipalities, the way they take action on it. So I want to change that. And there is a way to change that. We just got to be more community minded. We need a community center open to these folks who are living on the streets while we transition them into training, treatment, rehabilitation, and transitional housing. So what I'm going to do in the next few days is, like, I care about this, and I just want to say this. I want to thank Tommy Temper from the Tommy Temper Show. You can follow them on YouTube, as well as Jesse Frieg. So they've been out there covering a lot, and I'm thinking I'm going to start going out there and just checking out, scope it out, get that content out so we can present it to the public and present a solution, because that's the thing I'm working on. What can we do to solve this problem? What do we have at our disposal right now in terms of resources, immediate snap-on resources, where we can go to the city or the province and say, okay, look, we know we have this. We know it's not doing nothing. We know what I mean? And present an actual proposal so that we can start the ball rolling. I want to run for office. And if we can keep going with this, it's a start. It's a start. So right now, my heart is with two things. Independence for Alberta, representing the people, and then also making sure that we address the major concerns of Edmonton right now in terms of the homeless. And once we can get this somewhat under control, like I know we can start pumping this out to all the other communities across Alberta so we can put a nip and start doing something to help our own people. One thing is a commonality when I see all over with the homeless is the fact that many are still First Nations and there's no foreigners. So just keep that in mind. There's absolutely hardly any foreigners that are living on the streets right now. There's very few. So that needs to be said. Now, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to leave you guys with one of my releases. This one here is a pretty cool track, so you guys will be able to get it on SoundCloud. It's up there right now. I did post the SoundCloud links on Facebook yesterday and on X, so you guys can go there and look for it, or I'll post it again today. But yeah, we're trying to push out my music, and it keeps us from getting copyright infringements, and we're at least producing good music. All right, here we go on Alberta Radio.
Free Alberta. Let's go. Free Alberta. Let's go. Free Alberta. Let's go, 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 go. Free Alberta. Free Alberta. Let's go. Free Alberta. Control and propaganda, lies and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, lies and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, lies and propaganda, control and propaganda, control and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, lies and propaganda, control 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 and propaganda, lies and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, control and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, control and propaganda, corruption and propaganda.